Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Impact segment tonight. All over the country, authorities are trying to deal with children who are committing terrible crimes. In Connecticut, police are looking for some teenagers involved in this fight flick, which is running on the internet. Apparently, there are now arrest warrants out for 60 people, 60, involved in the making and marketing of this obscenity. And it goes on and on and on. In Newark, New Jersey, a 15-year-old boy and a 28-year-old man have been arrested for shooting them in the back of the head, 3 college students. And police say these guys, there's no reason why they did it. They just did it. There's no question the crimes are getting more brutal, perpetrators getting younger. Joining us now from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Dr. James Peterson, who teaches English and African American Studies at Bucknell University. Now, in Newark, New Jersey, I understand you're from that town, right?
Yes, I am. I grew up, born and raised in Newark, New Jersey.
All right, 65% of all babies born out of wedlock. 70% of all convicts in the United States have no fathers growing up. This is the problem.
Yes.
I guarantee you they're not releasing a 15-year-old boy's name. They should, and they should try him as an adult. But I guarantee you it's a chaotic family, no supervision, no father. I guarantee it. So what's the solution here, Professor?
Well, I think there's a number of different ways for us to approach this. Number one, I think it's ironic that this incident took place on school grounds, and I think that irony is telling. We need to think about what's going on in our school systems. And I would agree with you, Bill. There certainly is a nuclear family structure that probably is one of the root causes of this. But in the absence of that, and since we know that that's one of the sort of pandemic problems in our inner cities, we have to look to certain institutions to try to provide support and to try to provide some kind of
Let's walk through it. When you were a kid, when I was a kid, we hung out at night in the summer nights. We went out with our friends. These were 18 and 20-year-olds. Certainly they can hang out at night. That's what they were doing. Police say they think robbery was a motive. A bunch of guys came up, tried to take their stuff, and for no reason at all made them kneel down and shot them in the back of the head. One is 15 years old. Now, when you have that kind of horror in America, when you have that kind of horror, then the system has to find a way to deal with it, yet the system doesn't know how to deal with it, Professor.
No, the system doesn't know how to deal with it, but we have to have a partnership. You're right. There's some individual responsibility, and I don't want to skirt that issue, but we need a system in place, particularly in cities like Newark and Philadelphia and New Orleans, where the infrastructure can help support and sort of function as a stopgap for some of these problems that we're seeing with families.
I mean, we always see Go ahead. Give me a specific. What can society do to lessen this atrocity?
I think, first of all, we need to acknowledge the fact that this is an apparent and abhorrent atrocity in Newark, New Jersey. My heart goes out to the family and to the community of Newark, New Jersey, and the community of Delaware State University. So we have to, I think, pour out our support and our compassion for this community in their time of need. But something specific that we can do is we can redress certain issues in our school systems. I think the kind of tendency for this situation is let's get more police, let's do more on the law enforcement side. I don't know if that's an answer to this particular situation. I think there are things that we can do specifically in the school system, which honestly has got to step up and really teach kids and work with kids in terms of dealing with the media, in terms of dealing with guns and access to drugs, and in terms of dealing with violence.
But if you're going to do that, you're going to have to profile. You're going to have, look, I think I know what you're getting at, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we only have a couple more minutes with you. Look,
we don't have to profile anyway.
Well, I was a teacher. I was a teacher in high school, and every teacher in the school knew who the troubled kids were. Everybody knew, all right? There they are. We know who the kids are out of control, who the violent kids are. We know. Now, in order for the school to intervene when the parents will not, okay, you got to take those kids and you got to put them someplace special, and you got to give them therapy, and you got to give them extra treatment. Is that what you're talking about?
What I'm saying is that the kind of profiling I think you're talking about is a shortcut. I mean, if there is going to be any kind of profile in this situation, it has to be very, very extensive and very, very nuanced and very subtle. It can't be kind of let's put the bad kids into a classroom and see what happens. We have to do a lot more work in our school systems. Our school systems cannot be psychological houses for people that have problems.
But I'm not getting how you do that, sir. I'm just not getting you. I'm not getting your vision.
We need more. I'll show you the vision. We need more resources. We have to pay our teachers better. We have to value our education system money more than we value some of the other things.
Look, here's why you're wrong, and with all due respect. When I was a kid, and I think when you were a kid, we had 60 kids in the class, all right? We weren't going out shooting people in the back of the head. Okay, we had no resources.
When you were a kid, Bill, wait a second, Bill. When you were a kid, there was not access to guns the way there are access to guns.
Yeah, there was. You could get a gun in my neighborhood. There were wise guys with guns in the neighborhood. No,
listen,
it was that this society
the proliferation
was
of guns, Bill. No, Bill, there's been a proliferation of guns. But listen, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's also a change in our media, a change in the images of violence in our society.
But you can't control all of that.
And listen, that's not all, Bill. Actually, we can control it by educating our youth to be more critical of those things that they're seeing. But number two, also, we have to be much more mindful. I'm for that as well. But we also have to be much more mindful of the society that we live in. Poverty is different now than it was when you were growing up, Doc. It was.
Look, the poverty's the same. It's the attitude about the poverty that has changed. Sure.
No,
drug dealing. When I was growing up, drug dealing was horrendous crime. Now
drugs are different, though, Bill. The drugs are different.
Same drugs. Heroin's heroin.
They're not.
Heroin's
Crack
heroin,
cocaine did not exist, Bill. Crack cocaine did not exist, Bill.
All right, that's
Come on,
true.
Please.
I got to go.
It didn't.
We appreciate it. Directly ahead, guy exposes himself in New York.